Hey there, you wonderful viewers. This is Aquatorch here from the UnGuildables, or Thug for short. I'm here with an update to my old interchangeable easy Sorc build-out. The general idea with this build is to have a Sorc that can easily do any PvE content in the game with as few changes as possible. The following builds I'm going to discuss here can do high DPS and go upwards of 75,000 in trials or 50k in groups. It can solo game content like world bosses, group world bosses, veteran Maelstrom Arena, veteran Vedashran, even some of the vet dungeons and more. These buildouts can also tank or heal vet DLC dungeons. It truly is a full utility Sorc, and one of the best features of this build is that the rotation and skills stay mostly the same. So you don't have to learn how to tank, or learn how to heal, or learn how to solo or DPS, whatever you're doing. There's only a few minor changes to be made depending on what content you're trying to get accomplished. That's about it. So at this point right now, you can either click on the links below to get the exact build out necessary, or you can keep watching and you'll go into the very first build. Thanks. Alright, so the first interchangeable setup we'll discuss here is Solo Sorc. As you can see here, the skills on my back bar are Crit Surge, Volatile Familiar, Boundless Storm, Twilight Matriarch, this is for healing by the way, Blockade of Storms, Greater Storm Atronach. This Greater Storm Atronach is what I use primarily because it does a lot more damage than Shooting Star over time for single target. The only time I would use Shooting Star is if there's a big group of trash mobs. Now if you swap over to the front bar, you'll see I've got Inner Light, Pet again, Elemental Susceptibility, the Healing Pet, Empowered Ward. Notice that this is not Hardened Ward, this is Empowered Ward, and it's there because of the 10 seconds, and Shooting Star. Let's see here, as far as food goes, when I'm soloing, I always use Sugar Skulls. That's so I can get the health, stamina, and magica. I don't really need magica recovery, by the way, because it's a heavy attack build, so it's never been a concern on any of these builds. For potions, I use Tri-Stat, but only if it's, you know, tough content. I'll use Tri-Stats in VMA or Vedashran or Vedashran, sorry, or like you'll see if you continue on, you'll see a video of me doing Veteran City of Ash 2 no death run. I definitely used Tri-Stat potions for that. However, if I'm doing, you know, just a normal world boss or a non-vet dungeon or something, I'm gonna do a trash potion. So as far as gear goes, I'm in 5 light, 1 heavy, 1 medium. It's Infallible Aether, which is a front bar only. It's Noble Duelist, 5-piece. It's Lord Warden. All the gear is Divines. It's all max magica. The jewelry is all arcane with a spell damage enchant. The front bar weapon, the Infallible Aether Staff, is precise with shock damage. The back bar is infused Maelstrom Lightning Staff with a damage shield. The Mundus of choice for the solo build is the Lord. You know, that sounds weird, doesn't it? The Lord and Lord Warden. A lot of tankiness in this build. However, it still pumps out some really high DPS, especially when you're solo. It is a high elf. It's a high elf on purpose, and that's primarily because it does more damage, but it's also because it's a heavy attack build, so while I'm channeling, I take 5% less damage. Just makes me a little bit tankier. Let me pull up my champion points here. You can either pause it or you can go to the link below so you can view the champion points. And then that probably covers it for the solo build. If you want to see it in action, you can hop over to the solo video sections here in this playlist. I've posted already a no-death run of VMA, a no-death run of Veteran City of Ash 2. I've done several different world bosses or group world bosses that I believed were the more difficult ones. So you can see that this build is really legit. That's it. If you want to watch the next one, keep going, or you can click on the links below. Alright, the next interchangeable setup to be discussed here is the DPS Sorc. And this is for 4-man content or trials content. Now, as far as gear goes, it really doesn't change at all. It's still 5 Infallible Aether, front bar only, 5 Noble Duelist, 2 Lord Warden. However, if you really want to, you can swap out the Lord Warden for Zan or Zaan. However, there's not much of a DPS difference, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm able to get 47k DPS on a 3 million target skeleton with Lord Warden, or I can get 50k with Zaan. And at some point, like especially in things like Dragonstar Arena, Lord Warden helps out the group a lot more than the extra 3000 DPS does. So what's changed in the skills is I've gotten rid of Elemental Susceptibility and I put Daedric Tomb on. And you can see my parses and rotations in the videos below as well in this playlist. But you'll notice that it's always a heavy attack followed up with Daedric Tomb. And that's really high DPS. I've also changed the food as well. Well, I haven't, but I would change it if I was doing 4-man content to Arteum Pickled Fishbowl. That's because I do not need the stamina from Sugar Skulls. I also wouldn't be using Tri-Stat potions either. I'm either going to use trash potions or I'll use these minor heroism potions. Minor heroism potions are very expensive though, so I'm not going to use those very often. If I do use those, it's primarily just for DPS parsing. Just to look better, you know. When I'm doing parses, if I swap out to Zan on the trial dummy, I'm getting 75k. That is also swapping out Empowered Ward for Bound Aegis or Aegis. Now that's a little bit cheesy because in a trial or in a dungeon I would not swap that out. I would definitely have Empowered Ward. However, you can get by just fine without Empowered Ward because you do have a 5k shield on your back bar that's infused. So you're going to get that every few seconds. So it's not so bad. And you got really strong heals between Matriarch and Crit Surge. You'll notice the champion points did not change. You can either print screen, or not print screen, you can either pause the video and look at the champion points right now, or you can click on the build link below. Let's see. I think that's about it for the DPS Sorc. It works very well. Most people like it. It's not just maximum DPS. Sure, some people are getting 100k out there, but I'm also providing really good heals for the group. And if I use Lord Warden, I'm providing some really good tankiness for the group as well. So at this point right now, you can either skip ahead to something else, or you can keep watching and you'll go on to the next section or the next build out. Thanks. Okay, The next interchangeable Sorc setup here is for tanking. This sounds a little bit weird, but with this tank setup, assuming you actually know a little bit about the dungeons and tanking and whatnot, you can easily do veteran DLC hard mode content. Probably not so much trials though. Let's see. Although the health here is sitting at 23.5k, keep in mind you got shields. You know, you've got 11,500 right there. You've also got a back bar shield, and I swapped out the Maelstrom's lightning staff for an ice staff, so you're going to get an extra 7,000 shield every time you cast it for you and your group. Okay, so along with that, I also got rid of the pet that we never cast, and I put on the back bar, I put on chains from the Fighters Guild. And on the front bar, I've got Taunt and Elemental Susceptibility. To be honest with you, that's pretty much just about it for the tank build. It's really easy. You know, I mean, you're basically, because you keep empowered ward up all of them all the time, you're not sitting at 23,000 health like it looks like. You're actually sitting at 35,000 health. Plus, you know, an extra, there's 45,000 health basically right there. So you're a pretty high health build if you consider the shields as health, which they really are. There's no difference. You taunt everything, chain it in, and then in between needing to block for whatever reason, you can heavy attack, and as a tank you can pull easily 20k DPS, which is pretty legit because, you know, what group doesn't want an extra 20,000 DPS, right? On top of that, you're also going out of your way to heal yourself, but that's healing your group as well. So, in a lot of scenarios, not only can you tank nicely, but you may not actually need to have a healer, so you can go with 4 DPS for the most part. I mean, you'll be doing like pretty much half DPS or less, but it's still 4 DPS. And what has changed here for this is I've also got Lord Warden. I use Sugar Skulls. I use Tri-Stat Potions. And well, that's about it. Champion points still haven't changed. There's just no need to change them at all. Now keep in mind I did swap out to an Ice Staff. That is because of blocking. But I haven't removed the point in Tri-Focus. And that's because I actually want to lose stamina from blocking there. And I want to lose magica from blocking there. Or vice versa, sorry. And that's because just in case you run out of one, you can still block a deadly attack, so. Yeah, it's very important on the tank build. And as it turns out, this build is really legit. It tanks quite well. And I think that's about it. I'm looking over some notes here. No, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep watching for the next interchangeable Sorc setup.